Just a second, chat. Hi guys, hang on. Fucking late. God damn it. Okay. Alright. Whew. Oh, hello. Hey Dragon, how you doing? I'm sure you can hear my fan. Actually, I was gonna say I don't really care, but I should probably turn it down a little bit because I'm just gonna turn it off. Because we are watching a Warhammer video today. This is the first time we've done it in a while. I am tired. I'm tired. I'm pissed off. I am drained. I just want to sleep. I almost didn't stream tonight. I almost didn't, but I decided, you know what? I probably should. So let me get this up. We're watching a Warhammer lore video today. Yay! Or I don't remember if this is a audiobook or whatever. I don't know. We're watching it because I like Angron, and Angron is my favorite Primarch, or one of my favorite Primarchs. And hopefully this will make me feel better. Actually, you wanna know? Hang on. You wanna know how bad today was, chat? Let me fill your screen for a second. You wanna know how bad today was? I smoked a cigarette today after work. That's how bad today was. That's how bad today was. I smoked a cigarette. I never smoke cigarettes. I have only ever smoked a cigarette one time. And it was because one of my buddies was doing it outside of a bar, and I was like, fuck it, I'll try it. And it was disgusting. And I smoked outside with my boss after work today. And then I went and I got a few drinks. And now we're here. Today was fucking miserable, and if I bitch at all tonight, in advance, I am not sorry. Alright, anyways. This is Angron, Eater of Worlds. Let me know if there's any volume issues and we can figure that out.
Oh, how far up do you want to go?
I'm gonna turn on... Oh, well. I don't really think I need to turn on subtitles, because there's probably subtitles in here. Is it?
I'm not breathing well up here.
Is it really? No.
The plum brandy from last night could be to blame.
What?
Oh, quiet.
Oh.
Tell me, what are we doing up here?
Is it?
You saw the same thing I did.
Is it okay
We're
now?
not turning back now.
The slavers ascended the frigid, snow-covered range, searching for what could have caused the blinding flash of light above the Deshelica ridge that they saw hours before.
I did see it,
How about now?
but I'm starting to think that whatever it wasn't worth the trip. Stop.
What is that?
Oh.
As the slavers continued walking, they saw what appeared to be a pile of nearly 50 corpses in the distance.
Oh.
The slavers drew their rifles as they advanced.
What are those?
God.
When your kid is hurting and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
They're dead. Whatever they are.
Well, look. Is that a boy?
Mm-hmm.
Look at the size of him. We're gonna be rich.
This is nice voice acting.
These are
I like this.
Xeno's corpses. Did he kill him?
Probably.
Who is he?
Our biggest payday ever. If he survives.
If he survives. I'm willing to bet... Oh, hello. Wait, Wait. Chaotic Voices is in this? Hang on. That's so cool! What? Okay. Okay. Alright. By the way, chat, this is 2 hours long, so we're gonna be here for a while. Captain Master Valrak is in here? Oh shit. Oh, so this is like a big thing. This is like a big thing. This is a big freaking thing.
The slavers returned to Deshea, the young warrior contained in a net. He was sold to House Thalkir, one of the most powerful clans on Nuceria. This clan was part of the wealthy elite, known by the slaves of the world as the High Riders. They lived behind their walls in lavish palaces, while the rest lived in poverty. The High Riders of Nuceria, being the tyrant rulers that they were, orchestrated violent skirmishes that took place within the many gladiator pits. In the capital city of Deshea, these barbarous contests took many forms.
Hang on, just a second. I need to grab my fucking charger. God damn it. Ugh, I hate technology so fucking much. It's so fucking irritating. Okay. Hang on just a second. Get out of there. Why are you over here? Okay. God, this fan, not having a fan is killing me. I hate how fucking gross and muggy it is in my room right now. It's just, okay. Let me, okay, yeah, no problem. Not a problem, my dude. I got dragons on Twitch too, what the hell? Bros everywhere. Alright. Okay, let's keep going.
The gladiator slaves were often pitted against each other. Other times, they were thrown into the pits to fight abhuman beasts or witches. More often than not, a battle would end with one side conceding defeat, as this would allow the High Riders to keep an ample inventory of fighters. Sometimes, these fights were large group battles. Other times, they were one-on-one duels. No two pit fights were the same. But what was consistent was the crowd of roaring Nucerians that turned out to watch the brutal, inhumane contest unfold. These poor, downcast people would flock to the arenas and wager what little coin they had on their chosen warriors. When Angron was introduced to the gladiator pits, he was confused and afraid. He found himself unable to comprehend what was happening. Standing on the first step of a large, pyramid-shaped platform with nearly 100 others, he was surrounded by a thunderous crowd of chanting humans. Metallic spheres, known to the slaves as maggots' eyes, flew overhead and emitted sounds and unusual voices to the uneasy gladiators below.
Which one of these warriors possesses the strength needed to endure the devil's tears? Place your wagers!
You know who that sounds like? Sorry, you know who that sounds like, chat? That sounds like, oh, Jesus. That sounds like, I know, it blanked out for a second. It sounds like that guy from BioShock Infinite. That's who that sounds like.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is... There? I was gonna say that.
I cannot recommend Paley Valley's grass-fed Orton complex enough. It literally transformed my...
Seeing the State Farm ad is like...
Suddenly, Angron heard a collective gasp from the other slaves as massive doors on the pit walls opened and a foul-smelling liquid began to pour into the pit. Angron did not understand what they were saying, but was quickly beginning to comprehend the words that the slaves were speaking.
Yeah, no, it's... No, it wasn't him. It's one of the other. It's like one of the dude. It's like the inventor guy. Fucking what's his name? What's the name of that guy who like invents the stuff that they use in that setting? I don't remember. Anyways.
Boy, grab my hand.
He watched in horror as someone made contact with the black liquid and screamed in agony.
Oh.
There's no room.
A woman slipped trying to make it up to the next stair and unleashed a gut-wrenching scream.
Oh,
the acid continued to fill the pit and submerge the bottom steps. With less room to stand, those remaining on the platform began to panic. Desperation began to overcome the remaining slaves as only a few steps remained. They stopped helping those around them and started to fend others off so they could survive. Angron maneuvered the quickly sinking pyramid flawlessly. A man charged at Angron and attempted to shove him into the acid, but it was to no avail. Angron was simply too strong. It wasn't until no other options were available that Angron began to physically overpower the remaining slaves. He countered incoming punches and sent his attackers scrambling into the acid below. One of the flying spheres idled above the frantic gladiators and seemed to taunt them.
Fascinating! Grown men being outmatched by a young boy. Who will remain standing?
Near the top of the pyramid, only Angron and a hulking man covered in scars remained. The man threw a barrage of powerful punches, but Angron absorbed them like they were nothing and stood unmoved like a rockcrete wall. Understanding that death was imminent.
It's like that scene from Metal Gear Revengeance when what's his name is punching the shit out of Armstrong, and Armstrong's just standing there tanking every single shot.
Angron's instincts took over. He punched the man in the stomach with unimaginable force and sent him into the acid. The crowd erupted into a deafening applause.
Behold, people of Deshea! For your coin and happiness, we have a victor! We present this boy who has won the devil's tears! My child, what do you call yourself?
Although Angron was rapidly understanding more and more of the words he was hearing, he was unable to speak, not sure how to form words himself.
No name, boy. We shall name you ourselves then. Angron Valkyr, child of the mountain.
Lovely.
The crowd began cheering and screaming once again. In Angron's first trial, he stood victorious, though he was soon to learn that this was only the beginning.
Very interesting. I love the style. I don't know who
After surviving the Devil's Tears, Angron was promptly brought to his new home.
I don't know who animated
Each day, after the raucous, raving crowds filed out of the arenas and the ruthless exhibitions had concluded, those that survived the fight were escorted by armored machines out of the pits and into the caves below the arenas. It was here that Angron would be kept with the other slaves, and where he would remain until he was summoned once again to combat.
I didn't think you had it in you. You made the Valkyr clan
there's
rich today.
Valrock right there.
Angron looked around the dimly lit cave, observing the others who were kept captive. These people were battered and broken, both physically and mentally. A man with dried blood all over his body and dark purple bruises on his arms and face stood silently with his head against the wall. He looked at Angron, staring directly into his eyes.
You should get some rest, boy.
Angron looked at the slave with an uncomfortable gaze.
You're the boy from the mountains, you know?
Yes.
I heard them up there, cheering and screaming for you. I always hear the crowd, but I never heard them so loud before. The caves were shaking so hard we all thought it was an earthquake.
Where am I?
I wouldn't worry about that. I'd worry about getting some rest. If you're able to get to Shea, that entranced on your first battle, then you're gonna be spending a lot of time on the hot dust. Which means you need to rest.
Hot dust.
Close your eyes, boy.
The man heeded his own advice, closing his eyes and slumping back against the cave wall. Angron looked around at the others. Everyone was in some state of pain or discomfort. Some appeared to be having nightmares, their bodies shaking even though they didn't seem to be conscious. Others simply stared at the ground, quietly talking to themselves, their inaudible muffles fading away under their breath. It was never truly quiet down in the caves. Arena guards were always loudly moving about, rattling chains and yelling at the captives. Slaves would be shuffled in and out, whether they were being summoned to the pits or new prisoners had arrived. He closed his eyes, lost in his own thoughts, his mind racing throughout the night. The mental toll the caves took on one's psyche was dangerous to most men. Angron didn't yet know it, but he was not like most men.
He'll figure that out pretty soon, probably.
You, over there. You two,
Hey, there he
get
is.
up now.
3 armored machine guards stalked through the caves, rounded everyone up, and prodded them with a long, electric-tipped pole.
Mountain boy, get up. You're going to the hot dust.
The selected gladiators were lined up and marched into a small anteroom. This room was completely empty, with the exception of a wooden table and some racks that held a variety of weapons. Those that were aware of what was going on immediately swarmed the table, eager to get their hands on a rusted axe or a battle-worn knife. All that remained when Angron went to the table was a helmet, with remnants from the last battle still inside.
Oh.
Everybody, line up.
The 3 armored machines stood behind them, nudging them closer to a gigantic door. The door opened, and Angron was blinded momentarily as piercing sunlight poured into the room. They were pushed out onto the arena floor by the armored machines. The surface was covered in dust that would blow across the arena with each gust of wind. The hot dust.
Who will survive? Place your wagers and choose your warrior wisely.
Unlike the Devil's Tears, there would be no acid flowing through the arena, no jumping.
So they had like a bunch of different. So they had a bunch of different like arenas, like challenges or whatever. That's brutal. Jeez. I mean, at least it wasn't the Devil's Tears every single day.
To platforms to survive. This contest was all about combat.
Safe flight repaired.
Perfecting your swing is hard.
Nice shot, Dad. Safe flight replaced.
But replacing your windshield doesn't have to be. Get it fixed now and pay later with flexible payment options only at safelight.com.
I ordered 200 hand-forged knives to my dorm room and built a Wix website to sell them.
The fighting began, with gladiators swinging axes and spilling blood across the arena, working the crowd into a frenzy.
Angron Thalkir's dominance is on full display. The boy of the mountain continues to dominate.
Angron's first test on the hot dust was nothing short of mastery, fighting with the skill of a seasoned veteran. While only a boy, his physical strength was overwhelming. His agility and speed unmatched by any of his opponents. Always knowing where to be, when to strike, and never leaving himself vulnerable to enemy attacks. After his first battle on the hot dust, Angron was the last man standing. And in subsequent fights, he would be the last man standing over and over again.
Angron Thalkir has conquered the gladiators. Angron has done it once again. He is the winner. Angron is unstoppable. Can anyone best the boy of the mountain in combat?
Apparently not.
Weeks turned into months, and months into years. And Angron's domination of the gladiator pits continued. By the time he had reached the age of 10 Terran years, he had grown to a massive size.
Jesus.
Each time he stepped onto the hot dust, the crowd was stunned to see how large Angron had.
Because Primarchs are weird and different, so they're like kind of like clone troopers, I think. Because technically, all clone troopers are only like 10 years old, right? Is it like the same kind of thing with Primarchs?
Become.
Did they just like grow?
He was the
age
most
way
revered
faster?
warrior that had ever stepped foot on Nuceria, and the locals who came to watch named him the Lord of the Red Sands. The violence within the gladiator pits had shaped Angron's life, and through this combat, he and the other gladiators held a mutual respect for each other. They had true camaraderie. Being locked away in chains together, they understood each other's pain. They felt each other's suffering. As a prisoner to the High Riders, Angron forged many relationships with the other gladiators, but none of them were as significant as that with Onomaeus. Onomaeus was a veteran of the slave pits, Having survived over a decade of combat trials and imprisonment, he wasn't quite the physical threat that Angron was, but he was incredibly strong and agile in his own right. And over time, he became a mentor and a father figure to Angron.
You did well out there, Angron.
Angron sat quietly with a blank expression.
I know what you're feeling. I'm tired too.
The new one that was out there with us today, his first time on the hot dust. I knew he wouldn't make it out alive. I saw everything go dark for him, and I wished it were me.
Damn.
I don't believe that, Angron.
It's true, Onimeus. He's free from it all now. No chains, no being made to fight suffering men, no more High Rider scum or being taunted by the damned maggot's eyes. He's free.
The only life Angron had ever known, one of pain, violence, and suffering, was starting to break him.
He's dead. That isn't freedom. Freedom is outside of these walls. The High Riders rule today. Will they rule tomorrow, or 1 year from now? No one knows. We could see the other side of these walls one day.
Onimeus was right. For as empty as he felt, Angron would not give up hope of finding freedom. The bond between the two only grew stronger, and they made easy work of anyone who faced them on the hot dust. They were such a formidable duo that the High Riders decided one day to push them to their limits. After defeating a group of mutant beasts with heads that resembled an animal more than a human, Angron and Onimeus faced their gravest challenge yet.
People of the Shea, Angron and Onimeus have survived their first battle today. Will they survive their second?
I should have nuked
This battle, I assure you, is not to be missed.
Angron had faced countless foes in this arena. The Devil's Tears, witches with psychic powers, monsters, but nothing he had battled before compared to what was next. As the arena doors opened, 2 metal cages were brought out into the dusty arena surface, and as soon as they laid eyes on their opponents, Onimeus was immediately overcome with dread. 2 ogren monstrosities, roughly the size of Angron himself, were slowly let out of their respective cages.
Mama lies!
It wasn't their iron armor, or even their sheer size that terrified Onimeus. They were both wearing a remissum, which indicated that they were too aggressive and unpredictable to be kept with the other slaves, as the remissum was only worn by those who had received implants known simply as the Butcher's Nails.
Crush the little ones!
Janet! When's the last time you had a vegetable?
The fight commenced, and it was quite possibly the most fierce battle that had ever taken place in the arena. Both sides attacked each other with unprecedented strength, exchanging brutal and unforgiving assaults. And while this was the most challenging fight Angron had ever encountered, it was the first time that Angron wasn't fighting only for himself. He was fighting for Onimeus. Many times throughout the 17-minute brawl, Angron sacrificed a wide-open attack on the Ogrins to prevent Onimeus from suffering a fatal blow. In the end, Angron's strength and skill in battle proved to be too much, as the skirmish was punctuated with one final swing of Angron's axe, decapitating the last remaining Ogrin.
Angron the Unbeaten and Onimeus, the Bear of Walsham, have done it again! What a magnificent performance! Now, for their final test, the most treacherous match yet, in a fight to the death, Angron versus Onimeus!
Here we go.
Violence was all that Angron had ever known. From the moment he emerged from the warp, surrounded by Xenos who wanted him dead, to the very moment where he stood in the arena, set to face off against the only father he had ever known. His entire life had been one of savagery, but this was too far for Angron.
No.
I'm sorry, this is not a request, Angron. You and Artemis are to fight to the death. There is not an alternative option.
Artemis, understanding that nothing good would come from Angron's refusal, pleaded with him. But Angron was resolute. Artemis was like a father to him, and he would not take part in his execution. The crowd suddenly burst into laughter, humiliating the High Riders in the process.
Refusing the orders of the Highborn, are we? Well, Angron Thalkir, we have a way of handling this behavior. People of Deshaya, how shall we deal with this insubordination?
And in that moment, a chant from the crowd ensued. One word that would change the fate of Angron forever.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh god! Oh no! So that's how he got him. Okay, I think I remember that.
In stark contrast to when he was being pulled out of the caves, he was heavily sedated now, and the surgery could proceed as planned. One can assume that if Angron knew what the technomancers were about to do to him, and how it would shape his future, that he would have swallowed his pride and killed Artemis on the hot dust. But there was no turning back now. The origins of the butcher's nails are a mystery. Dating back to the dark age of technology, these cybernetic implants are a technical marvel. Some view the butcher's nails as a mortal curse. Others see them as indispensable enhancements. Regardless of perspective, the nails are incredibly effective. Empathy, morality, joy, love, any emotion that is not anger is pushed aside, degrading over time until it eventually withers away completely. Angron was suddenly jolted from his sedated state. His eyes opened so wide that he felt like they might bulge out of his head. Split-second flashes of colors and long dormant memories perplexed him.
These are Xeno's corpses.
He had never experienced a sensation like this. An evanescent chill ran through his body before it suddenly changed course, and his blood began to boil.
The pain in my head is unbearable. Why are you looking at me like this? You people are monsters. Why is it so hot in here? Why are these lights so bright? What did I do to deserve all of this?
Look at the size of it.
The High Riders are going to bleed for what they have done to me.
I'm gonna stop for a second. That voice acting is incredible. That is incredible. Can I just, and we've got an hour and a half more of this, by the way. This is incredible.
My fair people of Deshaya, the wait is over. The legendary battle that you have been anticipating. Angron and Artemis will battle to the death.
And now that he has the nails,
It was an honor, Angron, to battle alongside you for so many years.
He's not gonna stop, is he?
Angron nearly killed Artemis with the first punch that connected. And in the first instance of many more to come, Angron was lost to the nails. The pain he was inflicting upon Artemis and the blood that was staining the sands red were the only things soothing the pulsing pain from the nails. His vision went dark, and all he could hear was the earth-shaking roar of the crowd chanting his name.
Okay. God damn it.
Who's coming in the driveway?
Don't give me this, because now I don't want to skip it.
Goodness.
My daughter is being treated for leukemia.
I felt bad skipping that. That I felt.
When he
bad
came
too.
out of the coma-like state he was in from the nails, he was somewhere completely different. Gone was the hot dust and the screaming Deshayans in the crowd. Angron now found himself in a dark cell, his hands and ankles chained to the cave wall. His memory was fragmented, with everything after his refusal to fight being blurry. The butcher's nails throbbed inside of Angron's head so badly that it almost drowned out the conversation from the arena guards down the hall.
Ha! I made more coin off that one fight than I've made from the past 3 years of work.
Ah, cloak some more, why don't you? We're all dying to hear it.
As you wish. Is someone disappointed that they wagered on the wrong brute?
Yeah. Get a good laugh. I'll admit it. I expected more of a fight than that. And if Angron would have lost, I would have been twice as rich as you right now.
Ha! You didn't really think that old man was going to survive, did you? I don't think the fight had even gone 20 seconds before Angron caved his head in.
And it was at this moment when reality came crashing down onto Angron. The only father he had ever known was dead. And he was the one who had killed him. For the first time in his life, he began openly weeping. His cries were so powerful that the cave walls began to violently shake. He sobbed uninterrupted for 3 days, and when he finally stopped, only one singular thought remained. Vengeance. Angron vowed that he would escape from his chains and make the High Riders pay for the death of Onomaus.
There you go.
Angron spent the next number of years teaching the gladiators in the pits how to fight. The bond between Angron and the remaining slaves grew so strong that he began to look at them as his brothers and sisters. Angron wasn't only teaching them to fight, he was also plotting their escape. And on one momentous day, Angron and his gladiators put their plan into action.
Here stands 100 gladiators of Deshaya, prepared for battle. How many will survive? Place your wagers and enjoy the festivities.
Guessing that's not gonna last.
This is it, Jakura. The day has finally come.
I'm ready, Angron. We all are.
As soon as the horn blared, the gladiators began their escape. The Deshayans were in attendance to see Angron Thalkir slaughter his opponents. But to their complete and utter horror, they bore witness to a far more chilling event. The slaves in the pits hoisted each other up into the crowd, allowing them to scale the barriers and run freely through the aisles of tiered seats. Angron and his brothers and sisters were revolting, and the members of the crowd were their first targets. As they began attacking the retreating civilians, the rest of the crowd was completely enveloped in fear. They ran as fast as they could, screaming at the top of their lungs. The Nucerian kin guard attempted to regain control, and the gladiators in the stands were met with a barrage of gunfire. But it was too late. The evading Deshayans running for their lives created a stampede, and many of the kin guards were trampled. While the gladiators in the crowd continued sowing chaos and butchering all who stood in their way, Angron and those who stayed in the pit forced their way back into the caves and freed the remaining prisoners. Armored guards rushed down to the caves to stop the revolt, firing laser weapons and rifles. But Angron, overcome by the thumping of the butcher's nails, unleashed his fury on them. Within the arena and the caves below it, the ground was littered with the bodies of the dead and injured. Angron and his warriors spilled out into the streets of Deshaya and waged war against any of the High Riders that were foolish enough to stay and fight. With sticks, rocks, and anything else they could muster, they viciously attacked those who had enslaved them for so many years. They butchered the High Riders, collecting their skulls and leaving their corpses in the streets. These gladiators razed the cities of Nuceria and set fire to the rubble that remained. In one Nucerian day, 31 Terran hours, the gladiators faced their well-equipped and heavily armed slavers head-on. And won. There were no...
So is that kind of reminds me of I read somewhere that it was like the whole thing when Angron was in the crew was like a quote unquote loyalist, because the whole time he really wasn't a fan of the Emperor the whole time. His whole thing was that he would send his so he would send the World Eaters to complete like a crusade or to quell like a resistance on a planet in 31 hours. And because it took him and his buddies 31 hours to destroy a city, he was like, well, Space Marines, we could just do it in 30, we can just kill a planet in 31 hours, right? Right?
Longer malnourished, defenseless prisoners. They were the eaters of cities.
Frickin' okay. I fear the day when my...
Stems Flying Insect Fan Trap attracts and traps bugs 24/7.
I fear the day when that happens.
By the time the harsh winter arrived, the gladiators had suffered significant casualties from the relentless High Riders. The Eaters of Cities were forced to retreat to the treacherous mountains of Deshea. When they had first escaped, there were thousands of gladiators who were eager to set fire to Nasseria. Over time, attacks from the Kin Guard and the unforgiving conditions of the Deshelica Ridge reduced their numbers to hundreds. And by the time they arrived in the cave that they now called home, only 56 remained.
We won't be able to stay here forever. You know this. They're going to find us
So is
eventually.
this like a narration of like an audio... Hang on, I just want to see if this is like a narration of an audiobook or just a book. Is this like a... Hang on. Yeah, by the way, check this video out if you want to watch it yourself without my obnoxious rambling. Is this like... I don't know. Or is this just like something that they wrote and they're narrating?
And when
that would
they
be
do...
pretty cool.
Do you think they can defeat us?
Angron and his Eaters of Cities were free from the chains of the High Riders, but their situation was no less precarious.
Hi, Killer Fox.
The freezing temperatures and lack of food proved to be a detriment to all of them. Angron had not eaten in weeks, saving any source of nourishment for his brothers and sisters.
No, but this mountain is slowly killing us, Chakura.
Angron spoke through gritted teeth and the pain of the butcher's nails.
It's too loud. How loud? I'll turn it down a little bit.
I've been seeing more High Rider scouts appear searching the area. It won't be...
You can barely... Really? Really? Huh. That's weird. Okay. Give me just a second here.
long
Let me know
until
if
they
that's any
find
better.
us.
Let me know if that's any better.
If we die fighting the High Riders, so be it. I would rather die fighting alongside you all than to slowly wither away on this mountain.
Yep.
Rest now. And if we have to face our last stand when the sun rises, that's what we'll do.
Is it?
As the sun appeared over the horizon,
Just Is it?
As the sun appeared over the horizon.
Oh, hello.
The next.
Hi. That's okay. Jesus. Hang on. Well, that's annoying. Let me know if that's any better. I think I might know why, because my mic was a little ways away. We'll try that out.
Morning. Angron and his Eaters of Cities stood at the edge of the cave.
I can hear them coming, Angron.
Good. Let's make them pay for what they did to us.
The sound of the High Riders approaching was getting louder with each passing moment.
Okay, how's this?
And when they finally
is
came
this any
within
better?
view, the nails in Angron's head pounded like war drums.
Okay.
It's rather cold up here, Angron.
Oh, hey, it's that guy, but he's human now. They might have just used the wrong portrait.
Why don't you come back to where you belong? We don't take any of this personally. I can assure you.
Video's a bit loud. Okay. I can,
If you return to your rightful place,
let me know if that's
you have
better.
our word that we will forget any of this ever happened.
Sure. Yeah.
The High
okay.
Riders were adorned in ridiculous outfits, wearing expensive furs and exotic animal skins. But it was the man's voice that drew Angron's ire. The
Better?
maggot's eye.
Better.
This was the voice that had haunted him for
okay, this
years.
is the guy.
The voice that flew overhead and goaded him and the other gladiators.
Never. We will never go back.
You're acting like a child, Angron. Don't make this more difficult than it needs to be.
Getting all your daily
God.
nutrients is hard work. But nutrition gaps in your diet are inevitable. But there's an easier way.
This doesn't make sense. Why are they talking to us? There's so many of them.
Looking down at the hundreds of kin guards surrounding the Eaters of Cities, everything began to make sense in Angron's head.
Right.
They didn't want to kill Angron.
Right. They needed
They
him back.
needed him alive.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
The wealthy and technologically advanced High Riders had rebounded from the Eaters of Cities' attack. But without their standout warrior in the arena to fight, the Deshayan populace was no longer engrossed by the arena battles.
They're not interested
And there was
anymore.
nothing more dangerous to the
Oh,
High
lovely.
Riders than the Deshayan people focusing on their own poverty.
If you want me, you'll have to take me with your bare hands.
Well then, you've given us no other option. Just remember that this was your choice, Angron, not ours.
Sure.
The High Riders opened fire on the Eaters of Cities, and 20 of them died in an instant. Angron watched his brothers fall by his side, being overpowered by the deadly Nucerian weaponry. He had his eyes fixated on the man who barked orders through the maggot's eyes. He launched himself at him and ripped him in two.
That's a... Oh, shit.
Angron was unhinged, ready to throw himself at every last High Rider that dared to face him, when he was suddenly taken back by a blinding flash of light. The Emperor of Mankind appeared.
Oh, hi.
Angron was frozen in place, unable to move. The psychic energy from the Emperor caused torment in Angron's head.
I'm not leaving this mountain. Ah! I'm not leaving my brothers here to die.
Too bad. Yeah. To fulfill your true destiny. Yeah. And there he goes. There he goes.
Angron hit the ground violently, shattering the tiles beneath him. He opened his eyes and struggled to understand what he was seeing. His battle brothers were gone, as were the High Riders. More curiously, he was no longer on the snow-covered Deshayan mountaintop. His eyes darted around the room, taking in the luxurious art pieces hanging on the walls and the warriors in golden armor towering over him as he struggled to his feet. As one of the warriors approached, Angron ripped the spear from his hand and impaled him with his own weapon. Before he could move to neutralize the other golden warriors, he was dazed by another flash of light.
The Emperor just flashbanging him.
No! My brothers are dying. I cannot abandon them.
Oh.
You don't choose my destiny. Let me out of this place. I know nothing of this legion you speak of. Nor do I care. I need to stand and fight on Nuceria.
In one final flash of light, Angron opened his eyes and was suddenly somewhere completely different. This time, he was all alone. He was surrounded by dark, stone walls and massive blue and white banners. Angron didn't know where he was, but he knew it wasn't where he was supposed to be.
Yeah.
He should be fighting with his brothers and sisters on the Deshelica Ridge. Everything happened so fast that his brain couldn't comprehend it, and the nails hammered away in pain as he tried to make sense of it all. Who was this Emperor, and what was this place that he had taken him to? As his mind raced and his emotions washed over him, a door at the top of a staircase opened. Light poured into the room and the silhouette of a man walked in, closing the door behind him.
My lord, my Primarch. It's an extraordinary honor to stand in your presence. I must admit, I feared this day might never come.
Gear slowly descended the stairs, approaching Angron as he spoke.
We have traveled the stars for many, many years, anticipating your arrival.
As Gear continued his slow march towards his Primarch, Angron began to rise to his feet.
I have acted as the Legion commander in your absence, sire. But you are here now, and your Legion stands before you.
Angron stared at Gear, clenching his jaw like an iron grip.
We will honor you, my lord. We are here to serve you.
Serve me?
Yes, my lord. We are here to serve you. In the name of the Emperor.
As Gear muttered those fateful words, Angron's blood boiled. The nails pummeled away in his head, and Angron snarled at Gear as he looked down at him.
In the name of the Emperor?
I'm guessing that didn't end well for Gear. Warhounds. Right, that's what the World Eaters were called before he renamed them the World Eaters. So look like little McDonald's arches.
Are you interested in mushrooms?
God freaking, I mean,
Do you
kinda.
like drama? You'll love this.
Okay.
The Warhound's captain of the 8th Assault Company approached the door to the hall where Angron remained.
Is this Carmen?
In an act of rage that left the entire Warhound's Legion baffled, Angron had executed Gear shortly after he entered the hall. At least 6 other Warhounds met the same fate as Gear after they reluctantly followed their former Legion commander. Karn stood outside of the door and quietly spoke to himself under his breath.
My Primarch, I assure you that we mean no disrespect or harm. In the name of the Emperor, if you would be willing to listen to what I have to say to you. We are your Legion. We are at your command.
Karn opened the door and slowly walked down the stairs.
Hey, Warlock.
It was so dark in the room that Karn's eyes had difficulties adjusting. Even through the darkness.
We're watching Angron, Eater of Worlds. We've got about an hour and 20 minutes left.
It was obvious that his Primarch had left the hall in shambles. The smell of blood was overpowering, and nearly every light in the room had been broken or ripped out of the wall.
My Primarch, I assure you.
Another warrior that enters the arena with no weapon. Babbling nonsense. Is this how all of you prepare to fight?
Karn couldn't see the Primarch, but he bellowed so loudly that he could hear him perfectly.
To fight? No, my lord, I am not here to fight. In the name of the Emperor.
No! The Emperor killed my brothers and sisters down there. Refuses to show himself to me.
My Primarch, I don't...
Oh, is he choking him?
Why? Why are you all like this? Talking about this paper skin Emperor. Enough! Get to your feet and fight me now.
Sire, I am not here to harm you. You are my honorable leader. Our honorable leader. We are your warriors.
Text-based RPG walkthrough?
None of you are warriors. Warriors don't walk onto the hot dust without a weapon, speaking softly and My warriors are dead now. I should have died with them on the mountain. But this Emperor took me from my warriors. Why do you call yourself warriors if you enter the hot dust and refuse to fight?
Karn stumbled to his feet and attempted to catch his breath as he collected himself.
My apologies, sire. I do not know what you speak of. This hot dust. Nor do I know of your battle on the mountain. I'm sorry for the death of your warriors. My brothers and I. We have waited for many years for your arrival. You are our Primarch. Our
reasonable
leader.
crash out. Right?
What are you saying? What is this, Primarch? Why are you wasting my time?
I'm sorry, sire. A Primarch leads a legion of warriors.
Jericho, welcome in. How you doing?
Are a Primarch. You are one of the sons of the Emperor.
What did you say to me? I am no son of any Emperor. The only father I ever knew, Onomaeus, died on Deshea.
A wave of emotion washed over Angron with the thought of Onomaeus.
Yep.
Karn was having difficulties breathing and could feel at least one broken bone in his leg.
Oh, lovely.
He was taken aback by Angron's complete lack of knowledge. He pondered whether he was truly unaware of who he was, or whether this was a ruse.
What I am saying to you, sire, as a Primarch, you are our leader. You were chosen to lead us.
I choose nothing. I did not choose to lead any of you. I was taken away from those that I chose to lead.
I understand. As your warriors, your servants, we do fight when necessary, but we will never fight you. We will fight for you. We fight the enemies of our
No.
The enemies of our legion.
Yep.
Tyrants.
Good save. Good save.
Xenos.
Yes. Aliens. Impure creatures. Anyone that threatens humanity. The enemies of you, our Primarch.
Angron stood quietly, pausing before he spoke again.
What is your name?
My name is Karn.
Karn. Where are we right now, Karn?
We are in your triumph hall, sire.
The triumph
The adamant
hall.
resolve.
Where he kills
I've had
a
high
bunch of
blood
people.
pressure for years, but without a doctor,
Friggin'
it is hard to
A,
keep it under
man.
control.
The Warhound ship. Your ship. We constructed this room upon learning of your impending arrival.
If we leave this room, if we walk through that door, what will happen?
You will be saluted by warriors, more like me, who are ready to serve you as you see fit. Warhounds legionnaires who will fight and die for you if need be.
Angron said nothing. He looked at Karn and extended his hand to help him up from the ground.
Oh.
They
There you
walked
go.
up the stairs together and through the door into the flagship's corridor. The hall outside of the chamber was lined with the Warhound Astartes. They stood neatly in order, a look of stunned shock on their faces as they stared intently at their Primarch.
Warhounds! Our Primarch has arrived. He has spilled the blood of hostiles on Nuceria. He led his brothers and sisters, the Eaters of Cities, in the mountains of Deshea. He is our commander, the leader of the Warhounds.
All of the Warhounds saluted Angron at once,
Hey.
placing a fist over their chest.
Hey.
Angron
What's up, Shadow?
looked
How you
around
doing?
slowly, taking in the sight of the lines
Welcome
of
in.
Astartes standing before him.
We're reacting to some Warhammer.
as your
content.
warriors, we will not be eaters of cities. We will be the eaters of worlds.
Hey, he said it. He said the thing.
Angron stared directly into Draeger's eyes, and a smile slowly formed at the edges of his mouth.
World Eaters.
He said it. He said the
Yes. You will be World Eaters.
Chapter 3, World Eaters. How many chapters are there? World Eaters...
Prior to Angron's discovery, the Warhounds were one of the last remaining legions without a Primarch. They watched with silent envy as the other Primarchs slowly began to surface, witnessing firsthand how the legions changed for the better as their respective gene fathers appeared. And then, the day finally came. After decades of waiting, their Primarch had arrived. The excitement was palpable.
There he is.
At last, their true commander was there to lead them, to shape their legion into one in his own image. The story of Angron being the only Primarch who had refused the order of the Emperor quickly spread. Knowing that Angron would rather have died with his army than join the Emperor's crusade only added to the Warhounds' enthusiasm. What Primarch could better understand true brotherhood than the one who rejected the Emperor to stand with his brothers? Even after the death of Gear, the Warhounds were euphoric in their excitement and completely devoted to serving their gene father. Angron, on the other hand, was feeling much different than his new sons and struggled to accept his role of serving the Emperor. He quickly became acquainted with his legion and life outside of Nuceria. No longer was he leading a group of ravenous, ailing gladiators who were armed with only sticks and rocks. The meticulously trained, genetically enhanced Astartes of the World Eaters were killing machines on a level that Angron could have never imagined. Killing machines that the Emperor had deployed to conquer worlds that were lost during Old Night. Karn had introduced Angron to the campaign of liberation known as the Great Crusade, and found himself toiling to overcome Angron's hesitancy to participate.
Again with this compliance talk. I already told you, Karn. I don't understand it. I don't care about it. I don't know why you insist on living as a slave.
Sire, I feel as if there is a misunderstanding. We embark on campaigns to bring worlds into compliance with the Imperial truth.
Which is a lie, by the way.
Worlds where Xenos dwell, creatures from the warp. Worlds where humans have been led astray and have not accepted the rule of the Imperium.
Rule of the Imperium. This Emperor is just another High Rider, keeping humanity in shackles unless they comply with his word. I want nothing to do with this.
With all due respect, sire, I believe you are mistaken. Compliance campaigns don't enslave worlds, they free them. Bringing a world into the Imperium doesn't keep people in shackles, it breaks them.
And what if a world refuses to join the Imperium?
Then we take the necessary actions to ensure they comply.
Why are you speaking in riddles, Karn? Tell me of these necessary actions.
We assault those who reject the Imperium, sire.
Of course.
We strike the planet, attacking it from our ships. We invade the planet and engage in battle on the ground. Oftentimes, worlds willingly join the Imperium, and there is no need to strike. But this is not always the case.
Think you don't have time for an accounting degree? Think
I
WGU, built for working adults.
You're right, I don't.
The nails were pounding in Angron's head. The thought of doing anything to support the Emperor was an idea that Angron loathed. But he was suffering from the relentless agony brought on by the butcher's nails, and he started to think of the bloodshed that the Emperor's compliance would bring. Bloodshed that could soothe the pain from the nails.
There you go.
Tell me, Karn, how long are these compliance campaigns?
A campaign continues until the world willingly joins, or until it is completely liberated. The length of time differs in each campaign.
Angron paused for a long moment before he replied to Karn.
31 hours.
I knew it, yep. Okay.
I'm sorry, sire?
There we go.
31 hours was all we needed in Deshea to defeat the High Riders. No explosives, no bolters, no ship bombardments. We fought with rocks. We fought with our bare hands. The World Eaters will have 31 hours to bring a world to compliance.
There it is.
Angron, What you accomplished on New Syria is remarkable, but I'm not sure 31 hours is enough time to take an entire world. Some worlds, perhaps, but others...
If tens of thousands of warriors such as you, with powerful weaponry and armor, cannot take a world in 31 hours, then they don't deserve to stand on the battlefield.
Hey, I wonder...
No excuses.
I wonder, and I could probably just look this up. I wonder if in modern world, like modern times, world eaters still do like the 31 hours thing. I don't think they do, because I think that was mainly just for like the compliance campaigns during the Great Crusade. But I wonder if they have like let's go collect skulls for the blood god on this planet. If you don't do it in 31 hours, then we're gonna get your skull or something like that.
If I am to lead them, there will be no other way.
By your word, Angron.
And so began the rebirth of the Warhounds, re-emerging under Angron's leadership as the World Eaters. The Legion's participation in the Great Crusade was more rooted in Angron's needs than the Emperor's. And as the Great Crusade carried on, this word took on an entirely new meaning.
Oh yeah.
Compliance. A compliance campaign now meant killing every last soul on the world that was being invaded in less than 31 hours. If this was not completed, Angron would enforce a new mandate. Decimation. Angron sought to root out the weakness of his new legion, and failure to meet Angron's standard did just that. Each time the World Eaters failed to take a world within 31 hours, 1 out of every 10 in the Legion was to be killed.
Holy shit.
The consequences of decimation were substantial, and the unease of facing it started to loom over the World Eaters like a dark cloud. Over the next number of years, the Legion transformed itself under Angron's leadership. As the Warhounds became the World Eaters, and the flagship Adamant Resolve became the Conqueror, the once honorable and strategic compliance campaigns of the Warhounds devolved into ruthless bouts of slaughter. The World Eaters continued to change, and their image and reputation in the eyes of the other Astartes legions also began to shift. As the Great Crusade continued
to be expected,
on, even some within the World Eaters began to quietly question their new direction. The dreams of serving under a tactical genius like Rabute Gilliman, or a heroic warrior like Sanguinius, slowly started to wash away. The World Eaters couldn't truly understand the pain that Angron felt from his genetic implants, but they saw how they affected him. When they were engaged in battle, Angron was a force to be reckoned with. The nails turned this already fierce, unstoppable warrior into a complete embodiment of war. He was impossible to contain, slicing and tearing through every enemy that dared to stand in his way. It was when the Legion wasn't in battle that proved to be problematic. Angron was impatient, short-tempered, and completely devoid of empathy. He would fly into fits of rage out of nowhere, smashing servitors to mere fragments of circuitry and leaving gaping holes in the quarters of the Conqueror.
Oh, lovely.
Many World Eaters had gone years without Angron ever acknowledging their existence, as their Primarch would frequently stalk past them without even making eye contact. The World Eaters continued taking worlds in the name of compliance, but they frequently failed to do so in less than 31 hours. Then, during one particular compliance, something happened that changed the fate of the World Eaters forever. Angron had vanished.
Veil in honed black.
A smart toilet ad? Fucking
every
really?
detail.
Okay. Lovely.
Karn had ordered every officer aboard every ship to search for Angron, but each report came back the same. Angron was nowhere to be found. After comparing the results of a deep Auspex scan to the inventory World Eater ships, it was discovered that one was missing. Descending Edge. Not wanting to derail the current campaign, Karn left it in the hands of his trusted officers and set out with a small team to find Angron. Karn combed through the galaxy for 2 years in search of his Primarch.
2 years, Jesus.
Although he would never admit it, Karn began to lose hope. After years upon years of waiting for his Primarch to surface, he finally did, only to disappear without a trace shortly after taking command of the Legion. Karn swore that he would either return of Angron, or he would not return at all. He was prepared to spend the rest of his life searching for him. But then, the ship crew spotted something in orbit, floating silently above a dark world.
Oh my god.
Something that resembled the long-missing, descending edge. Karn didn't need to step foot on the ship to know what he would find.
Oh yeah.
Or more specifically, what he wouldn't find. The small escort ship was gone too long and too far away from feasible resupply points to have any survivors on board. As the officers who journeyed through the stars of Karn boarded Descending Edge, Karn made planetfall to the world below to search for his Primarch. Unbeknownst to Angron, Karn had Mars-forged transponders installed within his power armor. As time went on and Angron's behavior became more unpredictable, Karn correctly assumed something like this might happen.
Probably.
And while they weren't designed for long-range tracking, Karn knew that if Angron was on-world, he would now be close enough to locate him. He cut through thick jungles and a seemingly endless amount of trees, following a path that had been created. As he followed, his auspex indicated that Angron was nearby. He walked for 6 hours, and as the sun set above him, he stood at the entrance to a massive cave. Karn's auspex beeped again, telling him what he already knew. Angron was here. He entered the cave, walking slowly and looking thoroughly in every direction. After only a short time in the cave, Karn heard a low, deep voice bellow out from the darkness.
You found me, Karn.
Angron.
Karn, leave me alone.
Sire, you know I didn't come all this way to leave without you. We have spent 2 years searching for you.
I don't care, Karn.
He's like,
your sons
not
are
angry.
without their leader, Angron.
I don't have any sons. My sons died on Nuceria. Oh, they died without me. You, the Legion, the Crusade. None of this was my choice. None of this was my destiny. Your pathetic Emperor ripped my destiny from my hands when he put me on your ship and left my brothers and sisters to die. I don't want to hear about my sons, or what you or they or anyone needs from me. I was finally free, finally in charge of my own destiny. And in the blink of an eye, it was all gone. You may call me your father, your sire, your Primarch, but I'm just another slave to the High Rider Emperor, living out his destiny.
It pained Karn.
Again, I'm just gonna mention the voice acting in here is fantastic. This is amazing.
To hear this, but he understood. From the moment Angron landed on Nuceria, he had not been in control of his own fate.
And what will you do here? Hide in this cave forever?
I'll die.
Aww.
I'll stalk this world until something kills me, the way I should have been killed on Nuceria.
I acknowledge your pain.
You can never understand my pain. They never stop. There is no peace.
Come back, Angron. We can continue fighting in the Crusade, and the pain will subside.
No! None of you are strong enough. The campaigns have been riddled with failure, Karn. You are all focused on the wrong things. When I look at you, your brothers, I don't see warriors. There is too much talking, too much planning, too much diplomacy.
Then we can learn from you, Angron. You can train us.
No, I can't! You could never do what I do in battle.
Freaking A,
Life insurance. That fits your budget?
You don't feel the pain of the nails? You don't hear them sing as you fight, pushing you to butcher your enemy?
But what if they did?
You don't have the butcher's nails, Khan.
Khan looked into Angron's eyes and stepped closer.
But what if we did?
Yep. What if we did? What if they did?
He may have been fighting the Emperor's crusade, and he wasn't leading his true brothers, the ones who died alone on Nuceria. But for the first time in decades, Angron felt invigorated. This is what was missing. The Butcher's nails were the missing link.
There you go.
The link that would finally build the bond of Angron and his World Eaters. He had ordered Galen Surlak, a seasoned World Eater's apothecary, to replicate the Butcher's nails for mass production. And he made it known to the World Eaters that when they were able to produce them, he expected everyone in the Legion to undergo the surgery. Many of the World Eaters shared Angron's enthusiasm for the Butcher's nails.
As you should.
They believed that if they were to receive the implants, they would finally be able to relate to their Gene Father. They would only concentrate on what mattered. They were supposed to be the weapon of the Emperor. Leave the statesmanship and world building to the Ultramarines. Leave the care and compassion to the Salamanders. The World Eaters would be the bloody axe of the Imperium.
There you go.
Surlak was brilliant and proficient in everything that he did, but he was mystified by the Butcher's nails. The technology wasn't terribly different from other augmentations that he had seen, but getting it to interface with a living brain proved to be extremely challenging. And his attempts at duplicating the nails failed miserably. He made multiple attempts, but none of the World Eaters who were subjected to the surgery survived.
Rip.
The Great Crusade continued for years, and Galen continued tweaking his prototypes. He tried new methods of implantation, different incision points, but nothing worked. At the same time, the World Eaters continued to fail in bringing worlds to compliance in 31 hours, and as Angron's patience began to evaporate, their next campaign proved to be a tipping point. An Imperial world known as 9315 had gone quiet, and Terra had not received any communication from it in many years. The call was sent out to investigate, and it was the World Eaters who answered. Following a brief investigation, the World Eaters determined that the humans on 9315 were killed. In their place, Xeno life forms masquerading as humans settled on the planet, referring to it as Genna. Upon being notified of the situation, Angron ordered the compliance campaign. Unlike other campaigns, however, Angron stayed on the ship and left the fighting to his legion. And the consequences that came from what happened on Genna are still being felt to this day. Thousands of World Eaters descended upon Genna and marched towards the city gates. Led by Centurion Majo, they were prepared to fight Xeno resistance, but they were surprised to find no enemies at all. Instead, the people of Genna walked towards the Astartes with their hands at their sides. They had no weapons, no shields, nothing. No emotion shone across their faces as they walked towards the World Eaters. The World Eaters were more confused than alarmed, but that would soon change. As the Gennans marched towards the 12th Legion Astartes, they quickly found themselves overwhelmed. They weren't attacking, but there were so many of them that the World Eaters started to get weighed down by their sheer numbers. Realizing that they were soon to be trampled by the millions of Gennans that were flooding the streets, they made a decision. And for one of the last times, a World Eater would utter these words. Centurion Majo spoke into his Vox unit.
For the Emperor, and for Angron.
Damn.
The Astartes warriors began butchering the Gennans in the street, attacking them at will. Bolter fire, las rifle blasts, power spears. They brought forth the full force of their arsenal. But it made no difference. There were millions of Genins marching upon them, and there was nothing that they could do to slow them down. 31 hours became 15. 15 became 1. And eventually, a tone sounded within the helmet of every Astartes on Genna's surface. Time was up.
Yup.
They had failed to take the world in 31 hours, and were once again faced with decimation. The World Eaters stood silently in front of their Primarch. No one dared to utter a word. The air in the hall was thick with nervous tension.
Now, did they still finish the compliance campaign, just not within the 31 hours? Or what's the deal with that?
Angron spoke, but it wasn't necessary. Everyone knew what was to come next. 1 out of every 10 World Eaters was to sacrifice their life for their failing. It was a formality that the World Eaters had become all too familiar with. But in a moment that left everyone in the hall utterly stunned, Centurion Majo stepped forward and spoke.
No.
The tension in the room was now suffocating.
Anytime I'm coming through Dallas, I go to Nick and Sam's Steakhouse. You have to get a reservation with the Sapphire Reserve card. The tables, they go quick because the steak is phenomenal. It's not quite as good as my dad's steak. Close. And that's pretty dang good.
Evolution takes centuries. We don't have that kind of patience.
Cool.
Everyone in attendance was in complete disbelief. Angron stepped closer to Majo and stared down at him with a fiery gaze.
What did you just say?
I mean no disrespect, Father, but we cannot do this. We have already suffered greatly on this crusade. We cannot continue killing our own.
Angron took another step towards Majo.
You're brave, Mago. Speaking your mind. Refusing your commander's orders. I doubt anyone else would have the courage to speak so freely.
Angron turned away from Majo and slowly walked away.
You and your warriors are responsible for this suffering you speak of. I will say it again. 1 in 10. Step forward.
Father, we cannot.
Angron kept his composure the first time Majo spoke, but he did not the second time. Angron picked up his axe, Widowmaker, and stomped towards the neatly assembled World Eaters. The nails were screaming, and Angron swung Widowmaker in a perfect harmony with the nails. He was blind with rage and striking indiscriminately at anyone and everyone. Decimation was one thing, but Angron had lost control of his body. He was overcome by violent fury. The World Eaters' librarians feared that Angron may kill everyone. They made a split-second decision to use their psychic abilities to stop Angron's rampage by channeling a memory within Angron's mind. They hoped it could subdue him long enough to end his violent outburst. Memories of Angron's past flickered throughout his mind. A long-forgotten vision of a young Angron standing in the snow of the Deshayan Mountains was enough to end the slaughter. The World Eaters watched in horror as Angron fell to his knees and collapsed to the ground. Angron wasn't dead, but the psychic interference from the librarians had rendered him unconscious. With their Primarch in a psychic coma, the World Eaters were safe from Angron's rage.
For now.
But the cracks within the Legion's foundation began to show themselves. The 12th Legion were never happy to fail their Primarch. But the fallout from this defeat was different. A divide was forming within the Legion. On one side, there were the Astartes that wanted the Butcher's Nails. They believed it would strengthen their Legion and allow them to become what they were supposed to be. On the other side, there were those who believed that the Butcher's Nails would spell doom for the World Eaters. They argued that if they were to become as mentally and emotionally unstable as Angron, that the Legion would completely collapse. Majo believed the nails were a curse. Karn believed they were a savior. And this was the primary topic of discussion as the two Astartes clanked their axes in the dueling pits of the Conqueror.
You are lucky to be alive, after challenging Angron the way you did.
This legion is coming undone, Khan.
It's evolving.
Evolving? Into what, exactly? Thousands of us have been killed by our own blades, and all because a world wasn't taken in 31 hours?
It's what our Primarch demands, Mago. Who are we to question him?
True.
Every legion has its difficulties, its quirks. Don't forget how long we went without a commander. Angron is laying the groundwork for the 12th.
We had a commander. And then he was murdered almost as soon as our Primarch arrived.
Gear was a placeholder. He wasn't a Primarch. Now, I have no ill words to speak of Gear, but I don't think you're giving Angron enough time.
I'm concerned for the future of the 12th. We're slowly dying from these decimations, and now there's talk of giving us all the nails.
It isn't talk. It will happen. They're getting closer to a prototype that can be implanted in all of us.
Then they should be rejected. By all of us. Look at what Angron did earlier today. Do you believe that we would benefit from being more like him?
Sure.
I believe that we should have been victorious on Genna. I believe that if we had the nails that so many of our brothers that you lament the loss of would still be here.
I'm not arguing that we wouldn't be powerful forces in battle, Khan. It's impossible not to admire what Angron does in combat. But there is a life outside of combat. And the nails will destroy that. Our reputation amongst the other legions would be tarnished.
We're not here to maintain a polished reputation. We're here to wage war. To be the sword of the Emperor. Whether we have the nails or not, our mission remains unchanged. Our Primarch believes that the nails will aid us in achieving that mission, and I agree with him.
With the nails, the only thing I see is an existence where we abandoned who we are and become something else. Physical incarnations of rage.
Ouchies.
And maybe, Mago, that is exactly what we should become.
Yeah, there you go. He's got it.
An irresistible scent combo. Gain Tango scent boosters.
Sure.
What do you subscribe to?
I subscribe to whatever I choose.
I subscribe to Milchek's moves.
I
I subscribe to watching YouTube videos with no stupid ads on them. Anyways.
It had taken Galen Surlak years to get to this point, but he was finally on the verge of a breakthrough. After the failed compliance of Genna, Karn had brought Apothecary Surlak one of the Xeno corpses so he could study it. And after dissecting the body and inspecting it, he learned that the Genin corpse was not a Xeno after all.
Oh.
It was a machine.
Oh.
After running a series of tests, Surlak had determined that the Genins were wired to receive a signal, which meant that the millions of Genins were not marching upon the World Eaters by their own free will. They were being controlled remotely by human minds. Surlak's discovery prompted a hypothesis. If the Genins were not operating under their own control, and their actions were being dictated by human minds, was it possible that there could be a connection to the Butcher's nails? With Angron still in his psychic coma, Surlak was able to study the Primarch's implants more closely than ever before. He spent the next several days poring over the data he had acquired, comparing the information obtained from the dead Genin's body to that of Angron's nails. The results were astonishing. The archaeotech utilized in Angron's implants was nearly identical to the Genin technology that Surlak had been studying. This was it. This was the discovery that he'd been hoping for. The missing piece that can ensure his replication successfully interfaced with a living brain. He wasn't 100% certain yet, but if his theory was correct, if the Genin technology was in fact based on the same standard template construct of Angron's nails, then the code had been cracked. Surlak immediately went to work, carefully constructing his new duplicate nails to the specifications of the Genin technology.
Right.
And after days with his head down, working in his lab, his prototype was finished. All that was left was to test them on a live subject. Surlak understood that there would be hesitancy amongst the Legion. Dozens of World Eaters had already died from previous versions of the nails, and there was no guarantee that it would be any different this time.
Oh my god, I'm yawning so much.
He summoned the Legion to the Triumph Hall of the flagship. Surlak had waited years to make this announcement. The Butcher's Nails had arrived. All that he needed was a volunteer. A voice in the crowd of the World Eaters spoke and walked through the gathering of the Astartes. Surlak smiled as his volunteer stepped forward.
Is it gonna be who I
Khan
think it is? Yep.
removed his helmet.
Yep, I figured.
And smiled back at Surlak. He was ready for the nails.
I figured it was gonna be Karn.
With Karn laying on an operating table in the apothecary's lab, a nervous excitement began to build up within Galen Surlak. He was surrounded by medical equipment and buzzing servitors. The surgery was almost complete. A casual eye would not be able to differentiate between Angron's nails and those that Karn was receiving. Sleek, silver cabling wrapped around the back of Karn's head and connected to the nails inside. As the last connection clicked into place, his eyes opened. He was disoriented, unaware of where he was. Beads of sweat formed at the top of his head, slowly dripping down his face. A voice was speaking in the background, but Karn couldn't make out the words. He looked down and saw his hand shackled to the table he was on. Whether it was pure coincidence or a divine event, I'm unsure anyone will ever know. But as the nails began to pulse in Karn's head for the first time, as he lost control of his emotions, ripping the shackles from the bed with terrifying force, Angron suddenly woke up. And this was the moment that the divide in the World Eaters deepened beyond repair. With a reliable production of the Butcher's Nails ready for implantation, the World Eaters on one side of the divide stood ready, waiting for their opportunity to receive the gift of their Primarch, while those on the other side of the divide organized a coup. Centurion Majo understood that it was the technology from the dead Genins that led to the creation of the nails, and he believed that there could be more information on Genna, information that could lead to the removal of Angron's nails. If he could get there in time, it was possible that he could save his broken Primarch. The news of Angron's awakening and Karn's successful surgery spread across the World Eaters like wildfire. Majo knew he didn't have much time. He needed to make planetfall to Genna, but as he was soon to learn, it was too late.
Uh-oh.
The World Eaters had passed the point of no return. Angron and his new warriors were already on the ground. As more of the Genin machines poured into the streets, they were met with a violent death. Nearly 1,000 World Eaters, with silver cables dangling from the backs of their heads, rampaged the Genin machines.
I chose Wix for my business because of its massive scope for functionality and free.
There was no discipline in sight, no plan of attack. The World Eaters, their heads freshly equipped with their new engines of madness, were berserkers. Angron, Karn, and Galen Surlak hunted down the humans that were controlling the Genin machines. And in a spire in the middle of the burning capital city, they found them. When they entered the spire, they found hundreds and hundreds of small machines. They were stacked on top of each other, and each one housed a human. Galen Surlak theorized that the humans on Genna had built these machines to keep themselves alive. And using the technology that was now responsible for mass production of the Butcher's Nails, they controlled the proxy humans on the world. Angron looked around the room in disgust.
Kill them all. I don't want a single one of them to survive.
And with that order, Majo's hope of saving his Primarch died.
Lovely.
Majo and his supporters walked down from the ramp of their gunship and stepped foot onto Genna. They couldn't believe their eyes. The World Eaters were unrecognizable, destroying everything in their path. He watched in disgust as one of his crazed brothers swung his sword over and over at a Genin corpse that was long dead.
Oh, lovely.
They headed into the city center and found it in shambles. Buildings were on fire. Dead Genins lined the blood-soaked city streets. And in the distance, Majo saw his Gene Father standing outside of a crumbling spire. He slowly approached him and felt a sinking feeling in the pit of his stomach as his eyes fell upon Karn. Cables from the nails now dangled from the back of his head. The bloodshed and destruction surrounding him was not a compliance campaign. It was a civil war. World Eaters with the nails were pummeling their brothers that rejected the implants, mercilessly slaughtering them and then searching for the next victim as they screamed into the air.
Khan, it didn't have to be this way.
Khan laughed, then turned his head to look into Majo's eyes.
It did have to be this way. There was never going to be another way.
There is no saving me. Angron, your Primarch, died before you even knew he existed. He died on Nuceria. All that's left is the murderer, the bloodthirsty killer that the High Riders created. I've heard enough of your voice, Mago. So if you have any last words you want to say to your pathetic Emperor, speak them now.
He never had a chance to reply. Khan's axe struck Majo at the neck, and as his lifeless body hit the ground, a new chapter of the World Eater story began.
Okay. The Horus Heresy. Alright, I'm gonna stop there for 2 seconds. I'm gonna go get some water, because I'm pretty... my room is super hot. So I'll be right back. Behave yourselves. Oh shit, wrong one. Oh my god. Okay.
After what is now referred to as the Second Compliance of Genna, the World Eaters were never the same. The butcher's nails were being produced en masse, and those remaining that did not have the cybernetic implants wouldn't be without them for much longer. As the World Eaters continued on the Great Crusade, their compliances became more and more ruthless, and as Mago prophesied prior to his untimely death, the reputation of the World Eaters had indeed become tarnished. The constant decimations, the erratic behavior of the World Eaters after having been implanted with the Butcher's nails, attacks on Imperial allies during cooperative campaigns. It was concerning behavior, and the other Primarchs became disgusted with Angron. Leman Russ feared that Angron was spiraling out of control, and that he was taking his legion down with him. And in a bold act of intervention, Leman Russ confronted Angron about the continued atrocities the World Eaters were committing. Some theorize that the Emperor ordered Russ to intervene, while others believe that Russ took the confrontation upon himself. Regardless of who made the decision, it came as quite the surprise to the Conqueror's bridge crew when their Auspex detected unusual warp activity. Surprise turned to alarm when the Auspex readouts confirmed that the activity was a ship emerging from the warp. The ship that was approaching them was the Hrankel, the Space Wolves' flagship. And it wasn't alone. It hadn't been long since the Genin city of Malkoya had been ravaged by Angron in the 12th. The city's wounds were still fresh. Blood and debris still scattered throughout what remained of it. And in the fields just outside of the destroyed capital, Russ and Angron met, each flanked by their legions Astartes.
UV up, double down with Kiehl's Better Screen UV Serum SPF 50+, with collagen peptide.
Brother, I can no longer sit idle while you destroy your own legion. Murdering your own sons in the name of decimation.
My freaking mic was off the entire fucking time. Oh my god.
Murder. Eliminating the Legion's weakness is not murder.
Oh.
And who do you think you are to tell me what I should be doing? I don't take orders from you, Russ.
What you are doing is wrong. Compliance.
I love how they added the little wolf growls in there.
But you are committing genocide. Slaughtering entire worlds of civilians who are attempting to surrender is not furthering the Emperor's cause. Your implants are fueling this lunacy, and it must be corrected. All of us, the World Eaters and the Space Wolves, are to return to Terra so that these implants could be removed.
Oh, Angron's not gonna like that.
You act as if the Emperor himself hasn't ordered genocide. You all lie to yourselves and call it compliance? But is there a single world that you or I have liberated during this crusade that had a choice?
He's got a point.
Comply with the word of the Emperor, or die. That is not a choice. That is slavery. But these are the Emperor's orders, brother.
You disgust me, Angron.
Go on your way, Russ. And know that you ever talk down to me with this unmerited dream of authority again, there will be consequences.
Damn.
Both the Space Wolves and the World Eaters could sense that the situation was about to escalate, and the Primarchs could feel their tension. Leman Russ spoke through gritted teeth.
I'm leaving, but you're coming with us.
Ooh.
We're closing the chapter on the Butcher's nails.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Yep.
I'm going nowhere. You and your rabble of moon-howling cowards are less than an afterthought to me. You lead your legion, and I will lead mine. Why don't you make...
My mic is on, right? Okay, my mic is on now. Good. Okay.
Make yourself useful and return to the Emperor's great enslavement crusade.
There you go.
Your disloyalty is shameful, Angron.
You've spoken enough, Russ. Now you listen to me. You are no more loyal than I am. I have slaughtered countless innocent souls just like you. The only difference is that I do it in service to the nails, to ease the pain. I follow the Emperor's orders, Russ. But I don't do it under a false pretense of morality. Maybe, if I was as principled and righteous as you, I would have taken our bastard father's skull.
Lehman Russ couldn't hold back any longer. He threw himself at
Holy
Angron,
shit.
swinging his chain blade with fury. The two Primarchs parried each other's vicious attacks. Russ was winding up to strike Angron, but he was overpowered by a blow from Angron's Widowmaker. As the two Primarchs stood across from each other, snarling in anger, their legions were suddenly attacking each other. Whether the first strike originated from the Space Wolves or the World Eaters is unknown, but it didn't take long for sheer chaos to ensue. The two legions erupted into violence around the dueling Primarchs. Russ was fully aware that he was outmatched in combat against Angron. He was too strong, too fast, and Angron was so unhinged that he didn't care if he killed his own brother. He didn't pay any attention to what was going on around them. And that was the point that Lehman Russ was attempting to make.
Do you understand, Angron? Look at what's happened to your sons.
As Angron took his eyes off his brother, he found himself surrounded by space wolves. In every direction, the sons of Russ had their bolters aimed directly at Angron. Past them, the World Eaters were still engaged in combat and were getting the better of the space wolves.
You should be more concerned about what's happening to your sons, Russ.
Right?
Angron, look at your sons. They're so deranged that they don't even realize that you're about to die.
Lehman Russ was correct. At any moment, the space wolves surrounding Angron could rip through him with a storm of bolter fire.
Could they, though?
They're too busy winning the battle to worry about that.
Lehman Russ was trying to send Angron a message. He was trying to show him that the Butcher's nails weren't the advantage that he thought they were. That blind rage is actually a hindrance. And as Lehman Russ lay on the ground, bloodied and bruised from his brother, he realized what many others would soon come to see for themselves. Angron was slowly losing himself to the nails.
Slowly?
Abandoning what little remaining logic and reason he had left. Russ howled towards the sky, rallying his sons by his side.
Sure. Slowly.
And they fled towards their Stormbirds. The World Eaters were so caught up in the nails-fueled bloodthirst that they didn't even realize the battle was over until the Space Wolves were gone. Angron laughed, believing himself victorious. And as the Rankel sailed into the stars, Lehman Russ sat alone, coming to the sobering realization that Angron couldn't be saved.
Getting all your daily nutrients is hard work.
Yes, actually.
And nutrition gaps in your diet are inevitable.
I need a woman to say that to me. Just for the record.
As fate would have it, Angron wasn't the only Primarch headed down a destructive path.
Hey.
Lorgar, Primarch of the Word Bearers, was pushed towards the ruinous powers of the Dark Gods after being publicly humiliated by the Emperor and Rabute Gilliman. And following the events of Davin, Horus, the War Master and Primarch of the Luna Wolves, was also tempted by the powers of chaos. Lorgar used this opportunity to manipulate Horus, and the seeds of betrayal were sown. After the corruption of Horus, the War Master sought to overthrow the Emperor. And these traitorous ambitions gave birth to the Horus Heresy. As the heresy began to take shape, Horus was able to convince half of the other Primarchs to join his cause. There were some Primarchs that needed a fair amount of convincing. Angron was not one of them. It wasn't that Angron stood with Horus. It was that he hated the Emperor. And the heresy was the perfect opportunity to exact revenge on the men who left his brothers and sisters to die on this area. On the planet of Isfan III, Vardis Brawl, the corrupt imperial governor, had suddenly raised his banner in rebellion of the Imperium. Ordered to prevent the uprising, Horus still appeared the dutiful son and called the Emperor's children, the Death Guard, and the World Eaters to his side. And though on the surface it appeared that Horus was fighting in service of the Emperor, he was actually preparing to fire the first shots of a monstrous and vile civil war. Thousands of loyal Astartes landed and set to work slaughtering those who had betrayed the Imperium, never knowing that the true betrayal had only just begun. Those on the ground at Isfahan had landed with the intent to honor their fathers. Their fathers repaid them with death in the form of virus bombs. For a number of World Eaters, even with their brains distorted from the butcher's nails, this was too far. They had been willing to abandon nearly all of their ideals, but they could not go as far as betraying the Emperor. Angron punished them for this refusal. Against the will of Horus, Angron landed 50 companies of World Eaters to kill his remaining loyalist sons.
Damn.
The World Eaters who had rejected the nails had been purged during the second compliance of Genna. The second purging of the World Eaters occurred on Isfahan III, when those that refused to betray the Imperium were murdered. And the last glimmer of hope for the World Eaters died in fire, along with the planet.
Butcher's nails, alright.
Following the initial battles of the heresy, it was clear that the galaxy would never be the same, and Angron continued to slip further and further from who he once was. As some within the Legion would come to learn, the Butcher's nails produced by Garland Serlac were slightly different than Angron's originals. The nails created at scale were simply low-quality copies of the originals. They rewrote emotional responses and caused deterioration in the ability to reason, but they were not lethal. The nails in Angron's brain, however, were. These marvels of Dark Age technology were not designed for use in a Primarch's brain, and the implants were slowly killing Angron. This degradation was difficult to notice initially, but as time passed, the deterioration became more severe, and Angron became even more erratic, unpredictable, and violent. The bond that the World Eaters were so eager to share with their Primarch never materialized. They had truly believed that receiving the Butcher's nails would unify them with their Gene Father.
But it didn't really,
Instead,
did it?
The already fractured relationship between the World Eaters and Angron crumbled even further. The World Eaters had damaged their own ability to reason and think outside the lines of rage.
Yeah, this,
and Angron
I know
was
this
completely
music.
broken.
Hang on. Hang on. Yep, I know that music. I've heard it in like D&D stuff before.
A shell of his former self. After the attacks on Isfahan, Angron and Lorgar set off together to execute assaults on the 500 worlds of Ultramar. Erebus and Corferon were to lead a sophisticated attack on Calth, while Angron and Lorgar were to coordinate a similar attack on Armatura. The journey from the Isfahan system to Ultramar was long and would take months to traverse. And Lorgar quickly learned just how difficult the journey was going to be.
Lorgar's probably like, God
While en
damn
route
it.
to Ultramar, the two Legion's flagships stopped off on the world of Turum to refuel and gather supplies. The resupply effort moved quickly, and within 1 week the word-bearers had stripped all of the world's resources.
Damn.
The World Eaters, however, had no interest in the resupply mission.
Of course.
Instead, they remained on world for an additional 10 days, slaughtering the entire population and leaving a path of rubble and ash in their wake. Not long after,
Sounds like the
a
World
similar
Eaters,
incident occurred on the world of Garland Prime. Lorgar sought to send a message to the Imperium by enslaving segments of the population.
What the hell? Hang on. I didn't know that sound alert was still... Brigade 35, thanks for the sub. Sorry, that sound alert scared the shit out of me.
And once again, Angron and the World Eaters abandoned any thought of cohesion by swarming the surface and annihilating every living molecule.
Like
Angron delayed them 3 more times with off-course, unnecessary stops on worlds irrelevant to their mission. Lorgar's patience with Angron was wearing thin. and he reached his breaking point when the World Eater's flagship broke course and began attacking a small group of Eldari ships. The Eldari ships retreated, and Lorgar made comms with Angron via his ship's hololith.
In 2019, we got a $6 million contract with the United States Department of Defense Special Operations Command to create a drinkable ketone as high-performance.
It's like, listen here, you...
Angron, why are you wasting my time?
The Conqueror was attacked, Lorgar. Do you expect me to let that happen?
You were attacked by a group of pitiful Eldari dust mites that retreated as soon as you returned fire. Those ships are irrelevant. Pursuing them will serve no purpose whatsoever. And will only set us back further. Let me remind you, brother, that we are already more than 28 days behind schedule because you cannot help yourself from engaging in nonsensical expeditions that accomplish absolutely nothing.
Then go on without me, Lorgar. We will dispatch the enemy ourselves and reconnect once we're finished.
Please, tell me you are joking. They are not the enemy. You are actively avoiding the enemy by chasing those ships. Guilliman is the enemy. The Emperor is the enemy, Angron. I beg of you, focus.
They are Xenos, Lorgar! And they attacked our ship. They need to be killed. If you are so concerned about this precious mission and being delayed...
I'm gonna pause for the millionth time. Again, this voice acting is incredible. I love the Lorgar voice actor. Who is it again? Who voiced Lorgar? Matthew Houlihan. Sorry if I butchered your last name. That's incredible. Very good.
It would make more sense for you to simply help us, instead of arguing with me.
It took every ounce of self-restraint within Lorgar not to smash his palm against his own face. But he realized that Angron was right. He would have more success arguing with a wall than he would with his brother.
Yeah, probably.
Very well, Angron. I will humor you one last time. And once we are finished, there will be no more distractions. No more stopping off to set fire to backwater worlds. No more engaging Xeno gunships. No more nonsense. Agreed?
Angron smiled at his brother from the hololithic display.
Sure, brother. Whatever you say.
Whatever you say, bro. He's like, I don't give a fuck about that shit.
Lotara Sarin, commanding officer of the Conqueror, wanted to end pursuit of the Eldari ships.
I love Lotara.
We're wasting our time out here.
Baddie.
They had been searching for 5 hours and there was no sign of the enemy ships.
We've been wasting our time for the past 3 weeks.
The Auspex hasn't detected anything. We don't see anything. We don't know which direction they went. These Eldar ships don't leave a warp signature. How does he expect me to follow something that leaves no trace?
Lotara knew that abandoning the search would infuriate Angron, but she didn't know what else to do. And then, she had an epiphany.
Unless we don't follow them at all. They only attacked us once we were alone. After we charged ahead of Fidelitas Lex. Maybe they thought we were vulnerable. Let's see if we can bait them into attacking us again.
With this theory in mind, Lotara decided that attempting to bait the Xenos was a better plan than flying aimlessly around in space. The Conqueror jetted out into the void alone, and it wasn't long before Lotara's plan came to fruition.
Enemy ship approaching.
The 3 Eldari ships resurfaced and were now approaching the Conqueror. The enemy ships flanked the Conqueror from multiple sides, but their attacks failed to breach the void shields. Unlike last time, the Conqueror was well prepared for the Xenos. The World Eater's flagship blasted towards the Xeno ship at full speed. She was going to stop them in their tracks and allow Angron to board their ship to deal with them personally. In a nod to Angron's gladiatorial heritage, the Conqueror was equipped with a unique weapon, the Ursus Claws. Spear-shaped lances the size of smaller escort vessels would be fired at enemy ships, puncturing their hulls. Once they had breached the ship, they would activate their strong magnetic elements, preventing their enemies from evading. Lotara ordered her crew to fire the Ursus Claws at the Eldari flagship, and the spears shot clean through the hull. The Xenos realized that they were about to be captured and attempted to flee, but it was too late. The magnets activated and the Eldari ship was locked in place. As the Conqueror pulled the ship closer with its barbarous spears, the word-bearer's Fidelitas Flex broke through the void and prepared to board the enemy craft. And Lotara smiled as she received Vox confirmation that Angron and Lorgar had boarded the ship. To no one's surprise, the Eldari on board stood no chance against the two Primarchs. As the two brothers hacked and sliced their way through the Eldari corridors, they couldn't have been more different in their approaches. Lorgar was slow, methodical, and calculated as he surveyed his surroundings and identified his prey. Angron sprinted like an unchained beast, bellowing as he swung his axe in a turbulent rampage. Lorgar could see momentary flashes of bliss in his brother's crazed eyes each time he ripped through another resisting Xeno.
Lovely.
Yet these brief moments of happiness would almost immediately regress into bouts of rage as Angron searched for his next victim. Lorgar had suspected it for many years, but watching his brother up close and personal confirmed it. Angron was dying. Anytime he wasn't spilling blood or raising a city, the nails would punish him by hammering violently inside of his head.
Oh, hello. Ew, AI. Ew.
Angron's eyes twitched and the blood ran from his nose as he stalked down the corridor. The Eldari resistance was pitiful, almost as if they had already accepted their fate. Their attacks barely made dents in the ceramite armor of the Primarchs, and they didn't even bother retreating as the giant warriors closed in on them. Angron and Lorgar had cleared out the ship in no time, and all that remained was the bridge.
These Xenos make me sick.
The Eldari aesthetic was on full display on the ship's bridge. The Xeno inscriptions and the pungent alien odor was overwhelming. One Xeno remained on the ship, and Lorgar stood by as Angron approached him, dragging his axe on the floor as he walked.
Let us get this over with, brother.
I'll take care of this one myself.
Sure, you
Angron was within striking distance of the Xeno when he suddenly began speaking in low Gothic.
Monkai scum. You may kill me, but this is not over. We will never allow you to reach your destiny upon the Skull Throne.
Oh,
The nails were
he
thumping
knew.
so hard in Angron's head that he couldn't have heard the Xeno even if he was trying to listen. Lorgar was stunned. He tried to speak, but the words were stuck in his throat,
Oh, shoot.
still trying to comprehend what he had just heard.
You will die, Monkai, before you can ever become the son of the Blood God.
Shit.
The Blood God? What did you just say?
Those fateful words were the last to ever leave the lips of the Xeno, as Angron's axe fell and swiftly ended his life.
Ooh. So Lorgar was like, oh shit. Huh,
It had taken
hang on.
longer than Lorgar anticipated, but they had finally arrived. The Shadow Crusade was about to begin.
Okay.
Calth was the first. Its planetary defense grids were bombarded with scrap code, leaving the world vulnerable to attack. Kor Pharon led the assault, first crashing ships into the planet,
I know about this.
then bombarding it with void ship lances and storming the
I do
surface
know
with
about
word-bearer
the
titans
Battle
and
of
super
Calth.
heavy tanks. And in conjunction with the attack on Calth, Angron and Lorgar were making planetfall on Armatura. Lorgar had spent a considerable amount of time planning the attack on Armatura. But everything changed as soon as their drop pods crashed onto the planet's surface. The word bearers were organized, tactical, and communicated every step of the way as they begun executing the details of their plan. The World Eaters were a complete mess. Almost as soon as they had landed, they became lost to the nails and separated from their assigned battle groups. The Ultramarines on Armatura quickly realized that the absence of discipline from the World Eaters was a tactical advantage. They began baiting the World Eaters into battle, and then detonated buildings as they charged towards them, crushing massive groups of them under the rubble. The Word-Bearers, witnessing their brother Legion abandon all discipline, opted not to support them when they called for reinforcements, fearing that they could be walking into a death trap. The battle in Armatura was eventually won, but it came at a high cost. Countless World Eaters were killed, Titans were destroyed, and even Angron himself nearly died under the weight of a collapsed building. Now, more than ever before, it was painfully obvious.
Hey, Arbix, how you
the
doing?
Butcher's nails were destroying the World Eaters. With Armatura now in ruins, Lorgar's plan to destroy Ultramar was almost complete. During the Battle of Calth, Erebus unleashed a ruin storm, a massive warp disruption. The warp storm grew in size and strength, feeding off the souls of those that were slain throughout Ultramar. Aboard Fidelidus Lex, Lorgar was revealing the final step of his plan to Angron.
As we destroy Guilliman's empire, there is one last world that must be killed. A world on the fringes of Ultramar. Once this destruction occurs, it will feed into the ruin storm, and we will have constructed a barrier, a wall of dead worlds and warp energy. The Imperium will not be able to save Ultramar. No one will know how to get in or out, except for us.
May I assume that you will get to the point and tell me what this world is?
Oh, Angron.
Oh, Angron.
Your impatience never ceases to amuse me. But of course, brother.
Lorgar turned back to the hololithic display, observing the wall of dead worlds and the warp storm running across the length of Ultramar. He pointed to a tiny sphere on the display, just outside the edges of Ultramar.
The killing blow will be dealt here, on Nuceria.
Ooh.
Angron was completely silent as he stared at the display.
Oh, shit.
Then he turned his head and looked at Lorgar.
Oh.
I am not going back to Nuceria.
There is no other way to seal Ultramar off from the Imperium, brother.
Of course there is. There are countless worlds outside of Ultramar's borders that could accomplish the same thing. I will never return to Nuceria.
These other worlds you speak of, they will not work for this purpose.
Why won't they work?
You are just going to have to trust me, Angron.
Trust me, bro.
No! No! No!
Trust me, bro.
Are you doing this just to torment me? You know I swore never to return to Nuceria. Tell me now, Lorgar. Why Nuceria?
To save you.
To save you.
To end your torment. To free you from the nails.
It's impossible, Lorgar. Removing them will kill me.
Maybe. Maybe not.
Maybe not.
Keeping them in your head is killing you all the same. The Nucerians created the Butcher's Nails. If anyone in the galaxy knows how they were created, they will be on Nuceria.
You lied to me. Fed me this drivel of building a barrier.
No.
I did not lie to you. Taking Nuceria will close Ultramar off from the rest of the Imperium. It must be done. But I am also going to save you, Angron. At least, I am going to try.
Gonna try.
The Conqueror, followed by a fleet of ships, landed in the Deshelica Mountains. It had been more than a century since Angron was last on Nuceria, but even after 100 years, they were still there.
Red Bull gives you these nuts.
Do you know what's really fun? Making a website on Wix.
Hey, where Harry?
The bones. The remains of Angron's fallen eaters of cities. Angron stood solemnly, and tears slowly ran down his face. In all the decades of time spent together, Karn had never witnessed Angron shed a single tear. But Angron's moment of vulnerability was nothing more than that. A single moment. The nails thumped in Angron's head, harder than they ever had before.
This is where it all began. And where it should have ended.
You deserved better, Angron.
Angron drew his chainsword, staring down at Deshea from the mountains.
The High Riders.
Get him.
Those bastards.
Get him.
And our father. He could have saved your warriors. All of these bones. They could have lived.
Angron was shaking now, the nails slamming in a deafening crescendo.
Deshea must burn, Lorgar. This entire world needs to burn.
Lorgar remained stoic, but inside, he was ecstatic. Everything was going according to plan. The World Eaters and the Word Bearers breached the gates of Deshea. Kinguard's soldiers watched as they marched through the city. They were confused by what they were seeing, and they conveyed this message to the Praxery of Deshea.
We're not under attack.
No, Lord, but they are within the city walls. There are thousands of them.
What are they doing?
I don't know, Lord, but I think they're coming here.
Before the Praxery could respond, the throne room door swung open. The two Primarchs entered the room, followed by ranks of World Eaters and Word Bearers. And the room fell silent.
My two favorite
Forgive
legions.
my ignorance. I have been away for many years. Who is the ruling family?
The boy sitting upon the throne didn't say anything, instead letting a Kinguard soldier standing to his left speak for him.
The ruling family is House Thalkir, sir.
Ooh.
Is there a matter which we can assist you with?
Wait. Oh, shit.
Thalkir.
Hey, that's the name that he was given.
All eyes were on Angron as he approached the throne.
I haven't heard that name in many years.
Who are you?
Angron Thalkir.
The soldier said in shaking fear.
The last time I stood on this planet, I was also called Thalkir. Angron Thalkir.
Shit.
Angron? That's impossible. He couldn't still be alive. He fought in the Deshelica Mountains nearly 100 years ago. He ran away from the battle. He left his army to die.
Ran away.
Oh,
The soldier tried to speak,
Yep, yeah, he's
but
dead.
was overcome with terror and couldn't form a single word.
That guy's 100% dead.
Angron grabbed the soldier by the head,
Yup.
lifting him up with one hand.
He's dead.
Left my army to die!
The nails had taken control. Angron squeezed the life out of the soldier. The Praxery and his defense force gasped as Angron tossed the corpse to the ground.
Nuceria will be destroyed. There will be no survivors.
Based. Pop off.
The 12th and 17th Legions moved quickly, leaving each city on Nuceria in ashes and wreckage. They had spent 6 days ravaging the surface.
Damn.
Lotar Sarin was given specific instructions not to bombard the planet. Angron wanted to handle this himself.
Oh yeah.
Deshea was the first to fall, and they systematically killed the remaining cities one by one. Mehor was the only one that remained, but before the final battle could even begin, a warship broke through the warp and floated in orbit above Nuceria. Courage Above All was piloted by the Ultramarines. They were seeking revenge for the savagery that had been inflicted on Ultramar. The World Eaters and Word Bearers brought down the walls of Mehor and began a devastating assault on the city. Those that weren't crazed by the nails took cover and established primary battle positions. They knew it wouldn't be long before the 13th Legion drop pods rained down from the sky. What began as a simple assault on the only remaining Nucerian city had quickly transformed into an all-out war. Ultramarines flooded from massive lander ships and the 13th Legion drop pods.
Buying this boat was a total no-brainer.
Oh, no-brainer? If you got a new boat,
An entire fleet of ships had followed Courage Above All, and a void battle was raging above the surface war. The Word Bearers, Fidelitas Lex, was killed, and it crashed down off the Nucerian coast, sending a tidal wave 4 stories high crashing over the city.
Jesus.
As the Ultramarines and the two traitor legions engaged each other, Gilliman confronted Lorgar in a decimated city street.
Traitor!
Lorgar drew the Illuminarium, the weapon that Ferrus Manus had crafted for him long before the heresy, and the two Primarchs battled with strength and ferocity beyond the comprehension of mere mortals.
Kauth, Armatura, Erith 5.
Gilliman screamed the names of the dead Ultramar worlds as he swung his sword.
Pop off, Queen.
You shouldn't have come here, Robute. You are going to die on this backwater world.
Behind them, Titans clashed and traded cannon blasts. Gunships exploded overhead, and the 13th Legion lander ships avoided the flooded coastline as they continued to provide support. As the two demigods fought, Angron threw himself into the middle of the battle, with a bandolier of skulls forming an X on his chest.
Pitiful to see two of my brothers become heretics.
I'm not your brother, Rabute. I never was. You landed on a paradise world with everything given to you. I landed in a slave pit with everything taken from me. I had my brothers and sisters ripped from me, left to die alone.
You could have overcome your past, built a better future for your sons, but those hate engines in your brain ruined you, turned you into this.
Angron knocked Gilliman off balance with a forceful blow, and Gilliman recovered to match Angron with a strike of his own. As Gilliman's fists connected with Angron's face, one of the skulls around Angron's neck flew to the ground. Gilliman took a step and crushed the skull beneath his foot, a skull of one of Angron's fallen brothers.
Uh-oh.
This was the defining moment of the battle.
Not a good idea.
And Lorgar knew it. This moment here was why Lorgar had come to Nuceria. As Angron howled in rage and swung his chainsword at Gilliman, Lorgar began chanting in an ancient, alien language.
Uh-oh.
The power of the warp became a tangible force. The sky went dark and blood rained down from the blackened clouds. Lorgar never stopped chanting. A blinding ray of light beamed down from the sky, and a deafening wall of sound washed over the dying city. Gilliman lay on his back, bones broken and bloodied from Angron's wrath. He watched as Angron began clawing at his own face, screaming horrifically into the sky. The blood poured down even harder. Where Angron once stood was now a hulking mass
wait,
of
wait, is this where it becomes a demon primer?
Metamorphosis.
Hey, yup.
Beneath the blaze, Angron's skin was gone. Nothing but inhuman, molten gore remained.
Jesus
Gilliman
Christ.
and the Ultramarines that were now retreating We're witnessing the death of a Primarch and the birth of a demon prince.
Hey! Let's go.
Blood. For the
Say
blood.
it. Yeah, say it. Let's go. Let's go. Skulls for the Skull Throne. Hell yeah. Holy shit. That was cool. Is that the end? That's not the end. There's still more. There's still 4 minutes.
Is he in pain?
Yes.
What did you do?
I saved him.
The man who was once the Warhound's captain of the 8th Assault Company approached the door to the hall where Angron remained. Karn stood outside of the door and quietly spoke to himself under his breath.
I've done this before. He trusts me.
Freaking A, man.
It's time. Your time. Not just to go back to school,
Yeah.
but to come back and...
Karn opened the door and slowly walked down the stairs.
Sorry.
The sound of the demon's breathing was all that Karn could hear.
Oh.
I need you to do something.
Anything.
You and your brothers gather 300 souls and take their skulls.
Hey.
Build me a throne.
Hey. Let's go. That was so freaking cool. Oh my god. Holy shit, it's past midnight. Wow, okay. That was pretty damn cool. Whew. Alright. Well then. So that was, what was it called? Angron Eater of Worlds. Alright. Alright. Alright, chat. I'm gonna go to bed now, because I'm really tired. And I have work tomorrow. I have a very long day at work tomorrow. So that's gonna be fun, I guess. Yeah. Alright, I'm gonna let you guys be. I'm gonna go to bed. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your night. / whatever. Muscle mommy, oh my god, don't say that. Thank you guys for coming and hanging out. Thank you guys for making my day better. Today was a shitty day, so thank you guys. Yeah. Alright. I will talk to you guys later. Bye. Love you guys. Oh, there we go. Bye.